Hola, Eduardo. Hi, how are you? Thank you for giving me a couple of minutes to talk about this incredible, fascinating project, and also very entertaining and fun.
Thanks for having me, man. I like your background there. I like that poster, and I imagine you got a bunch of DVDs there, man. It looks like an
Yeah,
interesting
it's like
collection there.
this is kind of retro, but thank you for that. Let me start by asking. Your short, your participation in this film is very entertaining and the most satirical of those that the film presents. So where did you get the inspiration from, and how do you do to effectively insert the slapstick, gory kind of humor?
Well, thanks, man. It was Alejandro and Mike reached out to me, and they were like, we want to do this anthology, and it's called Satanic Hispanics, and I was like, oh my God, that's a beautiful title. And I knew I wanted to be a part of it. So but again, like, you want to make a good film, you want to have a cool idea, and so I was wondering, should I do a serious film? Should I do, a comedy? And I rarely get a chance to do comedy. So I was like leaning towards that idea. And then this idea came to me from an outside writer about, something where, like, this vampire, it thinks it gets stuck, daylight savings. And I thought it was hilarious that he has to rush home. And I instantly thought of Hemke Madera, who is a friend of mine that I met during Queen of the South, and he is like one of the funniest guys I know, and he's usually plays very serious characters, and he played Pote and Sicario with a little bit of a sense of humor, but I knew he wanted to like spread his wings. So I sent him the idea and he was like, I'm in, I'm like, dude, it's going to be low budget and, it's going to be tough. And he was like, I'm in. So he found, we were looking for, the wife character, and he knew Patricia. And I was like, oh my God, if you can get, Patricia, that'd be great. So he brought her in, and they were just really cool, and they known each other for a long time, and they've been wanting to work together. So, it was a nice little story to kind of bring them together. And for me, it was just like, it's easy when you have talented actors, and for Hemke, for me, like, just turn the camera on and point it at Hemke, and he does the rest. So it was it was a tough shoot, because we have no money and you're shooting at night, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. But Hemke's shirt, there's a scene where he gets egged, and we didn't have much money for wardrobe. We had a couple different ones, and then one of the ones he had to wear was kind of an eggy one, and it smelled, and it was, I mean, he was always, oh my God, this shirt smells so bad. And so it was a lot of fun, and I think that added to what happened on screen. And luckily, again, Patricia and Hemke had such great chemistry, and it was just fun kind of messing around with this old couple that happened to be vampires.
It's very interesting now that you mention the low budget aspect of the film, because one of the things that I love about this specific El Vampiro short, it's the aesthetics, the aesthetics, lo estético, the visuals that are kind of like 70s
Yeah.
retro, has this kind of retro vibe. Tell me a little bit about the style, more than sometimes it has to do with budget, sometimes it has to do with what you visualize, how you want people to receive it.
Yeah, I mean, I had, the idea that it's a comedy kind of lets you, gives you some freedom. And I think, there's always, in these kinds of movies, you can play up the gore, you can play up people getting killed, because it's not really, it's not serious. So there's I think people are kind of get into it, all the blood and everything. But again, we had this low budget, so I knew that I had to kind of cut corners and find cool ways to show the violence. So I got to play with the little shadows, and I love, like, the just it looks like it's a very colorful, and you're right, it looks like a 70s movie, like a 70s B, like, karate movie, or a creature feature from the
Yes.
70s. And so we kind of just leaned into it, and had a good time. And it was I edited the movie, so it was, luckily we had we got the really great performances, and again, it was like, I think the low budget kind of adds to the style of it sometimes, and we definitely felt like we wanted to lean in on the cheapness of it, and there's kind of like, and, in the B movie, like this Satanic Hispanics, just like Planet Terror, that poster behind you, like it leans in on the B movie, like let's just have some fun, let's not take ourselves too seriously, even though some of the movies are scary and very serious, but I love that I could just kind of let go and and create something with kind of a weird vibe, but just funny, and again let kind of Hemke and Patricia go and see what they did together.
I love what you mentioned about the fun part, the humor, the funny, but at the same time the seriousness of some of the topic that the film presents. But I was, while I was watching the film, I was thinking about the Latino representation within this genre. Usually we see Latinos that they're the first to get killed in when we talk about slasher films or the horror movie, and but it was, to me, it was very exciting when I saw the title for the first time, Satanic Hispanics. It was like, wow, this is interesting. We've seen a lot of like Crip Show and Twilight Zones and VHS. So how important was the Latino representation while you were shooting this funny funny short, but at the same time, without getting away from the seriousness of the richness of our folklore?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's we the big thing is that we wanted to have fun, and we wanted to not be this, oh, it's we have to, it's highbrow, we're Latinos and we can't, we have to be, proper or whatever. When Alejandro and Mike just basically told us, like, just do whatever you want, you know what I mean? And then we'll figure out the order later, and and luckily everybody had kind of a unique vision, um I, again, like it's not like we set about to do like a horror comedy, and I like the fact that there are even some moments in the other films that are very serious and creepy and scary and thought-provoking, but again, we wanted to show that part of it, and be respectful to that, but also we just wanted to have fun, and horror movies are meant to have fun. So we wanted to give people a roller coaster ride, and the fact that it was Latinos, and it was as many Latino workers as possible, actors, some of it is in Spanish, like, it was, we wanted to kind of, we are all like I'm American, Mike is American, like, we Alejandro's now American, like, we wanted to have a mixture of just the American Latino experience, but also we love the idea that we could bring Gigi and Demian in to kind of give us the just the different points of view.
So Eduardo, you were telling me about the collaboration. Tell me a little bit about how was the dynamic between all of the directors that worked in this film. How do you work together to have some kind of consensus to what the producers and the creators of the concept of Satanic Hispanics wanted to project?
I mean, it was really easy. It was like Alejandro and Mike, who were the main producers, and they found all the other filmmakers, and they basically told us, you can do whatever you want. You can be Spanish, it can be comedy, it can be, as long as it's horror, and obviously we wanted to push the idea that there was Latino representation, and we wanted to kind of examine some Latino things, some folklore, some Latino folklore maybe, but really, as long as it lived up to the title, Satanic Hispanics, like, give us something that, okay, this movie belongs in that, under that title. And then, it's weird because I've done anthologies before, and it just seems that the movies kind of work themselves out, like without a lot of coordination. I think the more coordination you have, I think the less like kind of spark you have. And the only question was like, what order are the movies going to be in? And I think they found a great order for the movies, and it's just kind of a balance, and so it was very easy. Like once we read all the scripts, I knew I was in trouble because the other scripts were great, and I was like, oh my god, I gotta make a I can't make the worst film in the anthology. And I think all of them are really solid. And again, like
Yeah.
it was easy. Like it was, there was never, I've been involved with other anthologies that went differently, and a lot of fighting, but I think this one, it seemed like, because it was about Latinos, and it was like we were trying to kind of just represent, but also make fun a little bit of it, and kind of just have fun with it. It's horror movies are meant to be fun. I think we all kind of brought our best, because we knew what we were trying to represent, the make the best film for, especially for this kind of movie. So I think it's, hopefully there's another part two, and we can bring in other Latino filmmakers, and this becomes kind of a thing that happens all the time. But I just just the idea of like centering it on Latino actors and writers and filmmakers, and it was just fun. It was fun, and kind of important, but not really. We try not to take ourselves too seriously.
Excellent. And now that you mentioned a possible sequel, that was my next question. If there's a chance of coming back to a sequel, will you do it? And what topic or theme would you like to explore?
I mean, look, if they ask me back, of course I'll come back. I like to do, if because vampiro is, it's a vampire, it's multicultural. Like, I think there's been vampiros in everything, every culture. I think, once the book was written, I think everybody stole the vampiro idea. But I'd like to do something that's like, that's strictly something that in South America or Central America, or even maybe something in Cuba, something local and horrific. And I don't want to, and again, I think this next one I'd like to do like a more serious movie. I don't think I'm going to do a comedy again, even though I love doing it. Just to do something different. But honestly, I hope they if there is a part two, I hope they bring in different, a new batch of filmmakers, because I think that's kind of the whole point, is just to kind of
Exactly.
put the spotlight on just Latino filmmakers, and especially Latino horror filmmakers, because there's a lot of us out there. And I think just kind of give new people some opportunities to just show what they got. So that's what really would excite me, is just a new batch of filmmakers.
Great. So yeah, I have only two last questions. I'm considering that the accessibility of new channels and distribution channels and platforms and products. Where do you see the horror genre nowadays or these days?
I mean, I think the horror genre is very healthy. Like, I think there's always ups and downs, and there's sometimes it gets kind of tired, but just recently there's just good film after good film. There's like a lot of really solid filmmakers out there. And also the variety, we're seeing movies now from all over the world, and that's really cool, because for me, horror is about discovery, and it's about mystery. And I think that bringing in other cultures and just things that we're not familiar with here in the United States, or that people aren't familiar with in other parts of the world, I think that's a great way to bring in the mystery and kind of make it fresh again, and I'm really excited, with channels like Shudder, and like the popularity of like how many horror film festivals there are now. And it's an exciting time to be a horror filmmaker, and I hope it continues.
I love that the genre also used to bring the best and the worst in people. So that's one of the things that fascinates me about the horror genre. So I cannot let you go, Eduardo, without asking you about the genre that you mostly probably created along with Daniel with the Blair Witch Project, the found footage subgenre. This film is almost 25 years old. What is the most important thing that you keep from this experience?
I mean, yeah, it's Blair Witch is to me, it was a gift. It was, something that we brought up as like making, when you make a movie, it's like bringing up a kid. And I had a great group of people around me, and it was very collaborative. I think that it was, it's the most collaborative movie I've ever been a part of. It's not only the, two directors, but the actors were involved in coming up with, dialogue, and just the actors were given so much freedom, and the way we directed them, and then the way we edited the movie. And I think it's it was just a great experiment that worked. And I feel like the proudest thing I have, about Blair Witch is that it did inspire people, and I think it continues to inspire people, because I have I see younger people coming to me saying, "Oh, I just saw Blair Witch, and it's cool, and how you did this and that." And really, for me, it was like, Blair Witch proved that, a couple of guys with some, from anywhere, with a little bit of luck and a good idea, and, actually a lot of luck, can kind of do this, something that really had like it was kind of a worldwide phenomenon, and it was just completely unexpected. And I think nobody could have predicted what happened with it. But I love that, people come to me all the time and like, "Hey, man, your movie got me into filmmaking, and you taught me that, anybody can do it." I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly what it is. If we could, if us, us knuckleheads could do it, then I think, anybody could do it." So, it inspired people, like, movies before, like the movies that inspired me when I was young, like movies from, Robert Rodriguez and Kevin Smith, like Spike Lee, the independent guys that made it themselves, and they taught us how to make these movies by ourselves. And just to be able to, like, motivate people and give people inspiration, future generations, that's the greatest honor of all. So I just feel blessed that I was a part of it at all.
Excellent. You indeed inspired a whole new generation of filmmakers, and it is one of the most terrifying experience I had in theater. So thank you for that. I have it somewhere around there. It should be there
It's in
on
the
top.
collection.
So
Excellent.
it is in my collection. So thank you so much. I just found out that you are responsible for the horror of Dolores Road. So I'm going to put it in my queue list. I'm going to start watching it tonight. So thank you
Yeah.
for that. I have a lot of friends asking me to see it. So I
Yeah.
will. That's a commitment that I'm doing with you right now.
It's fun, and Justina is unbelievable, and all the performances, but Justina is unbelievable. So
It is beautiful. Okay, so
yeah.
Eduardo, gracias. Thank
Thank you,
you so
sir.
much for giving me a
Gracias.
couple of minutes to talk about this great project. And I will, I will talk a lot about it. So thank you.
Thanks, yeah, man.
And
Thanks for the support, man. I really appreciate it.
excellent. Thank you. Desde Puerto
See ya.
Rico, un abrazo. Muchísimas gracias. Que estés bien.